It's a while.
Yeah, just because we got so much here. Plus the public.
I'm good.
Ready?
Yes.
All right, let's call to order the regular meeting, April 19th, 2022. Workshop meeting, I'm sorry, it's 5:03 p.m. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Lescovia?
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto? Here. Councilmember Stoyl?
Here.
Councilmember Nichol?
Here.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico?
Here.
Here we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, communication from the mayor. Yep. Okay, let's move on to communication from the public petitions.
Request from Sheila Starkey Hahn on behalf of the Dunkirk Fredonia Rotary Club to conduct their second annual cleanup of the beach at Point Gratiot Park on Saturday, April 23rd, 2022 from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m.
Any discussion, council?
The waiver looks sufficient. Rich?
Yeah, they're fine. They've been doing this for years.
Okay, so I just need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as intrinsic.
Second.
So I got by Councilman Bamano, and I got a second by Councilman Moscovich.
Number 2, request from Mary Reese on behalf of Revitalize Dunkirk, requesting permission to assist the city of Dunkirk in coordination with the Parks Department and the 912 Union to landscape 9 areas at the city pier and boardwalk on Monday, April 25th from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m.
Any discussion, council?
So moved.
Okay, hearing none, can I have a motion to refer the appropriate departments? Second.
Number 3, request from Tracy Smith Dengler on behalf of the Sunset Crew to host a bonfire on Main Street Beach the evening of Friday, May 20, 2022.
I'd like to table this thing until we get a hold of the fire chief.
Okay, I got a motion to table.
Second it.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they could have bonfires at Ivy Beach here to clean up the mess. Make it a one-time shot and let's
Well, I
go.
do have some concerns on it with the bonfire down there, because it's, as the mayor has said before, it's not necessarily considered a beach.
Right.
And with the smoke going into the neighbors' yards over there, and they, in their letter, they anticipate 30 to 40 people coming to this, and we have enough issues with people that utilize that sandy area during the summer. So, I mean, I just...
They identify themselves as the neighbors.
Well, and I don't know if that's in the scope of with the fire ban, open fire ban.
Right. I got no problem when we get chief back and we can push it off and we'll bring it back up in 2 weeks.
Number 4, request from Anne Marie Ricky on behalf of the National Honor Society chapter of Western New York P-TECH STEM Academy to have a beach cleanup at Point Gratia Park on Friday, May 27, 2022 from 9 a.m. until 1:30 p.m.
Any discussion, council?
Will waivers be needed for students, or?
Rich?
The school's covered, they have their own
Oh, the
insurance
school.
policy.
Okay.
Is there going to be anything left for them to clean up with all these cleanup crews?
Yes.
That's good, let them be.
Clean beaches, it's great.
Hardy's not doing anything.
Okay. Nothing, okay, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments.
So moved.
Number 5, request from Valerie Wallawender on behalf of Create Project requesting permission to produce a documentary, Traditions, Trauma, and Tenderness, on Saturday, July 30th, 2022 at the Dunkirk Memorial Park. The event will be open to the public between the hours of 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Setup time will begin at 11 a.m. and cleanup time will be until 4 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Hearing none, can I have a motion for the appropriate departments?
So moved.
Number 6, request from Colden Nudie from Scout Troop 267 requesting permission to create and plant a garden to promote butterfly conservation as part of the Eagle Scout project in the city of Dunkirk.
Any discussion, council?
Yeah, I didn't really read the letter from them of where they were going to put it and if they're going to work with our DPW.
Yeah, it's going to be in Point Graduate, and our 2 unions will work with this individual to make it happen.
Okay, thanks, Randy.
Good. Okay, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments.
So moved.
Second.
Number 7, request from Lenny Velez Olmo from Scout Troop 627 requesting permission to build a bug hotel and a march on the cube as part, I'm sorry, that's all in my hearing aid. I love my new hearing aid. But you gotta excuse me while I find my phone. Okay. There it is.
That's the resolution.
Sorry, guys. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're on the Bug Hotel and a match the cube as part of his Eagle Scout project in the city of Dunkirk. Deputy Development Director Hayes has been in contact with Mr. Olmo and suggested the project would be a great addition to the new nature play area at Lake Park.
Any discussion, council? Okay, let's, I need a motion to the appropriate departments.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Number 8, request from Northern Chautauqua Catholic Schools requesting to use the Promencheco Stadium for their home games on May 2nd, 2022, May 7th, 2022, and May 11th, 2022. They are requesting the fields be available and playable at 4 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Hearing none, can I have a
Mr.
motion?
Chair, if I may interject, I'm sorry, I spoke with Parks and Rec this morning. There is, we can't guarantee that the fields will be ready. It's 2 weeks from now. The dirt is on the field, ready to be spread, but weather permitting, they can get in there, but we can't commit to this at this point. It's just too soon.
And also the bathrooms too.
The bathrooms,
Right,
are
close to
closed,
it.
yeah, it needs to be painted out and fixtures put in, so I'm okay with the bathroom part. We could always put a porta potty if need be, but the fields, all the dirt needs to be spread,
Right.
needs to be rolled, we just can't guarantee that. Yeah, you know, I mean, and who knows, the weather's supposed to straighten out, but at this point, we can't guarantee
I
that.
did get a phone call from their coach in regards to rainouts and rescheduling. I mean, I don't have the crystal ball, I don't know when the rainout comes, so.
And if you don't mind, I spoke to Coach Sliwa, and it's not so much that we cannot allow him just to come in and do his rain dates without scheduling. It's that we cannot not allow somebody to come in and schedule their games based on him wanting to be able to reschedule.
Right.
So I did speak to him and let him know that we need a strict schedule because we've run into issues in the past if we've done things, if we've just given too much flexibility. Sure.
But it certainly sounds like we're trying to accommodate and work with them as best we can.
Absolutely. Would you like the city clerk to let them know that we cannot guarantee the fields at this point?
He's a very demanding person.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, I mean, the only alternative would be to go to the high school and see if they can use the ball field there.
They're both,
Okay?
so. But anyways, I think we're trying to accommodate them the best we can with what we can do. And that's all I can ask for.
It can also, the alternative, School 7, actually School 7 might be more playable earlier than that because it's a drier field.
Right, it's up a little bit higher.
Before his rainouts, we can't accommodate the stadium, that might be a place that
Yep,
he should
exactly.
look into getting.
Now, who would I tell them to contact to schedule the School 7 fields?
And Ryan.
Right.
Ryan can do that?
Right.
Sounds good.
Okay, can I get a motion that this is referred to all the appropriate departments?
Come over.
Second.
Number 9, request from Krista Camarada on behalf of the Jamestown Community Learning Council to host an educational family science night on Friday, June 17, 2022. We are requesting to use the lower pavilion from 3 p.m. until 8 p.m. and asking to have the fees waived.
Any discussion, council?
Yeah, I have an objection to waiving the fees, because if we do it for one group, we have other groups that are gonna come in and want the same thing. That's just my opinion. Why open a can of worms?
Mr. Chairman, just so you know, normally the waiving of fees is something the mayor handles. So just so everyone knows, that's not something that you can go to council.
Okay.
Sorry, Will. I just had to put my,
I get it, I
you
understand.
get it? Okay, as long as you get it.
So actually, all I would ask for is that be struck from this,
Yes, sir.
from the paperwork, as
Absolutely.
far as the fee, okay?
Yes, sir.
With that, can I have a motion, we refer that to the appropriate departments as well?
Nichols.
Nichols, and a second by Councilmember Mata.
Number 10, notice of claim from Colin Copa of 21 East Doty Street for alleged damages done to the front steps caused by a city-owned tree.
Any discussion, council? Okay, can I get a motion, we refer to legal?
Nichols.
Can I get a second?
Stoyles.
Stoyles, thank you.
Number 11, loudspeaker permit request from the Dunkirk Historical Lighthouse and Veterans Park Museum to use sound system for all events on the lighthouse property from May 1st, 2022 to October 31st, 2022.
Any discussion, council? Okay, hearing none, can I have a motion?
Nichols.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to reports of standing.
Sir, I have actually a couple walk-ons. I have a request from it's a National Day of Prayer. The National Day of Prayer will be held on Thursday, May 5th, 2022, from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. All churches in the city of Dunkirk will be represented. We are requesting the use of Memorial Park, Lakeshore Drive West as our venue. Please let us know at your earliest convenience if this request can be honored. So that's from basically all the churches in the area.
Okay. Any discussion, council?
Frank does this every year.
Okay.
He needs to be notified that he's got to let us know so that we're not going to keep doing special walk-ins for him. And he's on enough committees with the city that he should know this in advance.
Okay. Can I get a motion that this goes through?
Nichols.
Thank you.
Okay, along with that, I have the application for loudspeaker permit for the same event from 5:30 until 8 o'clock at Memorial Park for the National Day of Prayer.
Any discussion? Okay.
I have, there's one other resolution that I have. Thank you. It is resolution number 40-2022, April 19, 2022, by council members Nichols, Bomano, Stoyl, and Vescoviak. Resolution authorizing continued emergency work on large main insertion valve and water line repair on Route 5 between Brigham Road and Main Street. Do we need to go into this? You want me to read it?
That's what it's good order. Any discussion, council?
It's just if you want Randy to explain briefly.
We started this before winter, and now we have another set of valves to put in. We had an incident last summer. We got through. We can get through something like that better. We have one of these things that we have the opportunity for funding. We're in a place to do it, and we don't get this done before the Route 5 project. So that's what it is.
Okay, thank you.
And lastly, sir, I'm sorry, you need
I
to...
need a motion to
Nichols.
appropriate, okay. And a second?
Second.
Thank you.
And lastly, we have a communication from Mayor Wilfred Rosas to the Dunkirk Common Council for the Dunkirk Board of Assessment Review appointment. The following Dunkirk City resident has been appointed to the Board of Assessment Review. Michael Heal.
Any discussion, council? That would be received and filed. Okay. All right, let's move on to reports of standing and special committees. Councilwoman Moscovia.
Nothing that needs to be said now.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Bomano. Thank you.
No.
No. Same here. Okay, we can move on to unfinished.
So for number 1 and 2, sir, this group has decided to resubmit at our next meeting.
Okay. That was the, I believe that was the Erie Church, correct? Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
So just leave those on the table.
Yeah.
Nothing died.
Okay. And then the only thing you got to stay in there, right?
So we have intro number 2 to local law number 2-2022, City of Dunkirk, New York, a local law amending Articles 2, 11, 13 of the city charter entitled Elective and Appointed Officers, City Treasurer, and City Assessor.
Any discussion, council?
Well, I don't understand why, I mean, because it's not a broken system that we have. Usually, I mean, it's never, the city has never had a problem with, you know, the citizens seem to pay attention and they vote in again and again the same assessor and treasurer. So I was just wondering why we're doing this.
You voted for it.
I mean, the process, there was a resolution that was,
Yep.
there was a resolution that was put out by 2 council people.
You voted to let it go to a vote
Correct.
for the people tonight, that's what you voted for.
Yeah.
Vote.
Right.
I think what Natalie's trying to say is, why are we doing that? Why did we bring it up?
Yeah,
And I think Richard can explain the situation if you want to do it now, Richard.
Yeah, and I'll go over some more of this at the public hearing, just so we have some info on the record for everybody to consider. But what we found out in doing some research is when the city went from, it was a 3-person board of assessors, they did a referendum to go to the sole elected assessor. At that point in time, under the real property tax law, the position was supposed to go to 6 years anyway. Under the state tax law, the way they're doing it now with the assessors, and this goes back to a change in law in 2006, 2007, if it's a part-time appointed or it's an elected, it's a 6-year term. It should have gone to 6 as of right when it went to a 1-person elected. If the city ever decided to go to appointed full-time, that would be indefinite appointed subject to civil service. So you had asked this weekend, and I stand corrected, I thought it was just a recommendation.
Right,
When we did some further research, it's actually, it was a change in state law. So
Okay,
it should have been 6 years from that point in time in 2011 when they did the referendum to go to 1 assessor. And apparently it was just missed.
okay.
So we're in the process of doing some research with the Department of State to see how we correct that, whether a referendum would be indeed needed or not, being that that position was already shifted back then. So we're looking at on that one for the assessor position.
And we still have some time between now and June to make that.
Right,
Wow.
once we find out what the path
Right.
forward is with the
Yes.
state.
If I may interject, we have 3 days after today to notify the Board of Elections that we have a referendum that go into our next.
That's not exactly true. We have until August. For November's general election, we have until August.
My office has 3 days to notify the Board of Elections that we intend to put something on a referendum.
We'll leave that as a side conversation. We don't have to have that conversation here at this meeting.
Understood.
But agree to disagree.
Okay.
Do we need to call like the New York Conference of Mayors, like to confirm this, or you
To
know for
confirm
sure?
that it should be a 6-year term?
Yeah, I mean, do
No,
you,
it's codified in state law.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's nothing that NICOM has to confirm or deny. All we need to do is
Yeah.
figure out how to fix what was missed in 2011.
Basically, that's your job to interpret the way the law is actually written and incorporate it in what we need to do here.
Right.
Okay.
So basically, so we are all understanding this, the city has not been doing it the correct way since 2011, is that correct?
Right, when the referendum was passed to go to 1 assessor in 2011, it should have been automatically converted to a 6-year term per state law. For whatever reason, that didn't happen.
Because each of those 3 people were for a 2-year term, correct?
That may be, I'm not sure what the calculus was
Right.
behind the change in law.
They were full, there was 1 full-time assessor and 2 part-time assessors.
Is that how they were doing it? Okay. The law changed in 06, 07, but then, again, we had engaged that in 2011 when we went to the 1.
so there's 2 choices now. Either an appointed with the civil service, who has to,
Right,
or an elected.
right. But either way, if it's a part-time appointed or if it's an elected, per state law, it's a 6-year term. If it's a full-time appointed, it's indefinite. So it would be sort of like how we do with police chief and fire chief. They're appointed with civil service and the subject to qualifications.
That's something to think about.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
When did the law change?
2006.
2006.
Yep.
Because in the 2011 copyrighted date, documents I looked at, they don't mention it.
The term,
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, it seemed to be just missed.
No.
They changed just to 1 person, but they never changed the term of that 1 elected position.
Actually, the state document.
Rich, we're the only elected assessor in the whole now.
Right, and we're 1 of 13 in the state.
Yeah.
Most are elected, I'm sorry, and this, I'm gonna go into, we did some research. Out of about 1,100 municipalities statewide, 13 actually still elect assessors. That's about 1%. So most are appointed part-time, and the way they do it is they often have several municipalities. So they're part-time for several municipalities and piece together sort of a full-time operation with that.
Okay.
There was 1 person, I think in one of the counties, we had 19 different municipalities
Randy over in Jamestown had 9 at one time.
Yeah, so that they're often in bunches, than as part-time.
Thank you, Rich. Nothing under pre-filed resolutions. How about new business? Hearing none, can I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Nichols, second by? Thank you. We're adjourned.
Councilmember Stobiak,
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto, Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols. Councilmember Larson.
Aye, adjourned.
Thank you, Rich. You got it. Public hearing.
Yep.
We learn something new every day.
No.
Maybe we got the same question.
Yeah, maybe I don't need to.
I have to
Council, which resolution is entitled, Intro Number 2 to Local Law Number 2-2022, City of Dunkirk, New York, a local law amending Articles 2, 11, and 13 of the Dunkirk City Charter entitled Elective and Appointive Officers, City Treasurer, and City Assessor. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held on resolution number 39-2022 on Tuesday, April 19, 2022 at 5:15 p.m. in the Common Council chambers to hear any and all interested persons.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open. Would anyone like to speak? Go ahead. Please state your name and address.
Gary Frederickson, 750 Pier Street, Dunkirk. As far as the changing the terms from 2 years to 6 years, I think it's a horrible idea. First, if you're worried about having somebody there that needs time to get qualifications or get up to speed on the job, that should all be taken care of before they even run for the job. You know what the qualifications are. You should have to meet those before you can to get the job to be able. Secondly, to change it from 2 years to 6 years, if the person you put in is not, or gets elected, because they know enough people to get elected, you're stuck with it for a longer period of time that they're not doing a satisfactory job. 2 years, that's the most you're stuck for. 6 years, you might be 4 or 5 years or more where they're not doing a good job and can't get their no recourse. No way to move. The terms for those two positions should not be longer than the chief executive of the city's term, which would be the mayor. Should be equal to that or less than that. And my last point is, if you change those terms from 2 years to 6 years, where do you stop? What terms do you change after that? Do you change the council's terms to longer than 2 years? Or it puts you in a situation where you're subject to changing other jobs in the
Thank you. Go ahead, Richard.
Hello, everyone. Just on behalf of the City Law Department, we're not taking a stance either way, but we just want to share some information based on research. This was an issue of first impression for us as part of this current administration. Just want to share a couple facts. One is, according to New York State Office of Real Property Tax Services, only 13 of 1,141 municipalities have elected assessors, only one, or about 1% statewide. Dunkirk is the only municipality in Chicago County with an elected assessor. The elected assessor, per New York State Real Property Tax Law, Section 310, should have a 6-year term. When Dunkirk did its referendum to go from a 3-person panel of elected assessors to one sole elected assessor in 2011, it should have changed the term per that law as well. For whatever reason, that did not occur. We're doing some research with the Department of State to figure out how that's fixed. So a referendum may not be needed for this position assessor. As I stated earlier, most assessors are appointed with civil service qualifications, and even the appointed positions, if they're part-time, have 6-year terms. If they're full-time, it's an indefinite duration. It seems that from what we noticed in the lists, oftentimes assessors are part-time, but part-time for several different municipalities. So, for example, there's one woman in Chicago County is part-time appointed for 5 different towns in the county. Another example, in Cattaraugus County, there's a gentleman who's a part-time appointed assessor for 19 different towns and villages. Now, going to Carrie's point, under New York State property tax law, uncertified assessors have up to 3 years to show progress towards what they call a permanent certification. So it's similar to licensing for teachers, for example. They can do it faster, but they have at least a 3-year period to get them done. And I believe it's 10 courses of a certain amount of hours that they have to do that are mandatory for that state certification. For the position of the treasurer, the term city treasurer isn't used much in New York State. And for the few municipalities that do use it, it's approximately a 50-50 split between elected and appointed. There are other related titles that are used, interchangeably: comptroller, town clerk, town or village receiver, or tax collector. For those that are elected, what we've noticed, just based on our research, they tend to be 2 or 4-year terms. In many municipalities, the role of town or village clerk, and these tend to be small municipalities, are combined with tax collection duties, so it's sort of combined in one position, full-time. In Chicago County, there's only one treasurer and one elected, and that happens to be our person, Mr. Woods, here in the city of Dunkirk. In Erie County, by comparison, there's only one elected city treasurer, and that's in the city of Tonawanda. In Oneida County, as another point of comparison, there's several town clerks/tax collectors that have several 2-year terms, some have 4. There are no elected city treasurers. However, the city of Utica has an elected city comptroller with a 4-year term. And then there's been some academic research on the issue that pointed towards lower costs of borrowing when you have appointed versus elected city treasurers. This particular study that I looked at was in the state of California, so I just throw it out there for what it's worth. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Please state your name and address.
Also, we're 196 Brooks Avenue, and I'm speaking here for myself rather than what I normally do with CAC. And of course, I'd like to express my disagreement with the resolution. To start with, the Common Council, instead of taking a piecemeal approach to the charter, should instead panel an independent charter revision commission to assess the problems with the charter. And we seem to have gone through several different charter amendments over the past several years, and that indicates a problem with the charter. One example that should have been taken care of with this resolution, if they had properly gone through it, was that there's an entrance in the position of sealer of weights and measures. The position was disestablished in 2011, so why not get rid of it? Or we could carry that position on forever. And the pamphlet revising city charters in New York State Division of Local Government Services, on page 17, it says it is more essential for the chief administrator to have some control over appointment of department heads than over boards and commissions. Moreover, in many cases, there's no justification for retaining elected department heads unless they are to exercise policy decision-making authority. In addition, the goals of charter revision are, in fact, the same as those of better city government. Better municipal service delivery and more efficient use of financial and human resources for carrying out functions of government. The New York State Department of Taxation publishes a short document, Municipal Options for More Important and Efficient Government Administration. The document spells out some options for assessment. Coordinated assessment, county-coordinated assessing, county-run assessing, sharing an assessor, and county services for towns and cities. One wonders why these options were not explored prior to the submission of this resolution. While some of these options would be more difficult to accomplish than others, shouldn't these options be explored? There is also mention of grants from the state to accomplish some of these options. During previous council meetings, as Richard pointed out, it was mentioned that it takes the city assessor 3 years to complete training, but it actually, the paperwork says that it's up to 3 years. It also spells out that appointed assessors must complete 12 hours of administrative education, and in addition, certified assessors must complete an approved ethics course either 1 year prior or 1 year after reappointment of re-election to office. The way I write this is the appointed assessor has stricter requirements than does an elected assessor. Could be wrong, but...
Sir, your time is up, sir.
Okay, I didn't know I had a time limit.
3 minutes as an individual.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak?
Yeah. Tom, I'll let you go. 119 Margate Street, Dunkirk. As Rich stated, in 2011, when they changed it around, I checked the state as far as changing it from a 3-man board to a 1-man assessor. I wanted to go 1 assessor, 1-man board. State said no, it had to be the 3 or the 1. Nowhere in the state did anybody tell us it had to be a 6-year term. As far as the education up to 3 years, correct, if you follow the proper sequence. Sometimes those classes, when you start, are not in a proper sequence. You can't catch them all within a 2-year span. Of course, over the last 2 years with Zoom, everything's changed as far as being able to pick up classes. But furthermore, I think instead of an elected assessor, it's time to go to a 6-year appointed assessor, and you get together with other municipalities in this area, and you merge them into one. When I started, Randy Holcomb in Jamestown was taking care of 9 municipalities. Because of the computer systems compared to where they were, even when I started, and the state drawing back on a lot of the stuff, I think it's time to start merging some of these offices together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ed Devine, 618 Main Street, Dunkirk, New York. I've come to speak against the putting out the both positions to referendum. I think that we've been well served, certainly for many years with our current treasurer. However, if you decide to go to an appointed position, which seems to make a lot of sense, listening a little bit to Tom here, I think that that just makes sense, especially with the assessor position, but it also might make sense with the treasurer's position. That certainly can be up to the public, and if it's in a referendum, that's what it's going to be. But I really don't know that we have too much broken. I think that converting this over to an appointed position would be beneficial. Also, just, as a point of clarification, the last meeting, it was talked about that you would have, in an appointed position, you don't have as much oversight. And I just wanted to let you know that an elected position, you know, there's no recourse. I mean, not that we've needed it, but there's been no recourse if something happens. The only person that an elected official reports to is the public. And a long term makes it very difficult for the public to get action if they need it. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else? Please state your name and address.
Yes, my name's Jeanette Delgado. I live at 309 Dove Street in Dunkirk, New York. First of all, I agree with our charter's slightly outdated, including parking place for building, but that's a whole nother day of conversation. But I think the bigger question right now is not whether we have to do this 6 years or not, because we have to fall into compliance with New York State law. So it's about the law, so we need to be in compliance with it. I think the bigger issue is deciding whether we want to appoint somebody or elect somebody. And that I can see is like the biggest back and forth of this whole situation is which one. I would agree with having an appointed position. I would agree with taking it from another municipality. They've already have the job, they already are qualified, they already are doing it. You could see their success rate because of their employment history. I think that would be very fruitful. But I think we just, either way, we have to move forward from today and fall into compliance. And I just think that actually having appointed positions, I like being part of 1%, but it doesn't always work. So if a lot of the state is moving forward, then we should move forward to them, to where their ideas are, so we can keep going forward with progress, because we're always trying to get progress. And helping each other and having municipalities share people is part of creating the progress. So just moving forward in that direction.
Thank you. Anyone else? Second call? Last call? Okay, public hearing is closed. No more call. Okay, let's call to order the regular meeting for April 19th, 2022 at 6:42 p.m. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Lescoviac.
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Here.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Here.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Here.
He's telling me the wrong time. He said it's 6:42.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, certification of prior meeting.
This is to certify that an official copy of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of Tuesday, April 5th, 2022 was presented to the mayor on Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. Pursuant to section 3.03 of the Dunkirk City Charter, all items presented to the mayor are now in full force and effect, and witness whereof I have here to set my hand and the seal of the city of Dunkirk, New York, this 19th day of April, 2022.
Resolution dispensing with the reading of the minutes.
So moved.
Nichols, I got a second. Stoyl?
Second.
Councilmember Lescoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye. Carried. Okay, reading of the privilege of the floor regulations.
The privilege of the floor shall be extended to any person appearing for themselves, in which case that individual shall be limited to 3 minutes, and to any person representing a group who shall be limited to 5 minutes. When recognized, please stand and state your name and address. The city clerk shall have the duty of maintaining such time limits, and the councilman at large may determine in his discretion whether individuals are speaking for themselves or representing groups. Councilman at large D'Amico shall maintain good order and may require any speaker to cease speaking if remarks are made in bad taste, are slanderous, or non-germane to any action taken or contemplated by council. The time limits specified shall be strictly adhered to, except that a speaker may be allowed to complete a statement or thought started before such time has expired.
Thank you. Privilege of the floor is now open. Would anyone like to speak? Going once.
He's going to finish. Oh, Jesus.
Paul Sommerfeld, Brooks Avenue. This time I am speaking for the CAC. Question about Memorial Park. In it, we've got the center section that has memorials on it. Some of them are in pretty sad shape. And my question is, who's responsible for the care and feeding of those monuments? And why haven't they been addressed in the past? There are some sections where they just look horrible. Additionally, what does the city have in plans for the Whispering Giant? We had a discussion about that at our last meeting, and we're kind of concerned that it's kind of being forgotten. The statue itself was supposed to be covered with some sort of coating, and we're not sure when the last time that happened, and we'd like to see that thing exists for a lot longer. It's apparently there's an issue where there's so little wood left that it's being held up by some steel, and we'd hate to see the city lose that remarkable landmark. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nichols. would you
I
like
can
to-
address them on that. I've been in contact with the creator of that, one of the gentlemen that redid all the work on him, and it will be coded correctly. As a matter of fact, I was going to address it when it's my turn to speak for committees to see if there was any ARPA funds that we could, with collaboration with the money that's with the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation that Gina Crone had started with her fundraiser to have a permanent surround, because I don't believe, talking to Jason Sislevich, that the plywood winter housing for him will survive another year. But if we could come up with something through the ARPA funds to make something permanent with the guys that drew the plans before on it, and I think Randy does know who it is. And I've also talked to Randy on it, and we have the formula of the preservative that does need to go on the Whispering Giant. Once it dries out enough, we're planning on putting a coat on in the spring and then another coat on him before he gets covered for winter time. So he's in good hands. I've been working with Gina on this for quite a few years.
Yeah, Jean was at the meeting, and she
Yes.
brought along the one guy who did a drawing, and I do have a
Yeah.
picture of the drawing that day.
Unfortunately, we can't call him now because he's out in the Amazon. Thank you.
Well, I meant the guy down at Jamestown.
Oh, okay. But thank you for your concern on him, but we've been looking into how we can take care of him for many, many great years to keep him in Dunkirk. But he's very secure on his metal platform that they constructed when they reshaped him from the inside out. Thank you again.
This first part of your question, Randy, would you like to touch on the monuments, or Mike, as far as in Memorial Park, as far as any type of?
I could just say something as a thought. I think that I think it's a good thing for us to think about. I'm glad you brought it to our attention. I think that together we can make a plan, and it's the type of thing that I would like to be brought to my attention during the workday so that I can put a team together and make a recommendation to the mayor on that, but I will do that tomorrow. And I think that, just one of my thoughts, and this is just brainstorming, get somebody, an expert like Titus Monuments or something like that, and get them as an advisor, do some work in there. I would agree that we want to maintain these. I mean, we want it to be like the Smithsonian or something like that. We really respect these monuments, and if you go to a lot of places like that, they do age over time. You can tell where World War I began and ended, and World War II began, and things like that. It's all there, but it needs some work. There used to be a wooden flagpole in the middle of that, and that rotted out, and it's been replaced with the metal flagpoles now. So it has had work in the past. I think if we put a team together to make some solid recommendations, and don't be afraid to bring these ideas and suggestions to me a little bit earlier before a meeting, so it's not just a brainstorm, we can actually put a plan together. So thanks for bringing it up, and that's just a preliminary idea.
Thank you. Okay, we're still under privilege of the floor. Would anyone else like to speak? Second call. Last call. Floor is closed. Okay, communication from the mayor, including disapproval messages.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to comment on the resolution regarding the city treasurer and city assessor position.
I just want to let the public know my feelings on that issue. I tend to agree with our former city assessor that these two positions should be appointed with minimum qualifications as per New York State Civil Service. That is my opinion. I voiced it before, and you know, we've done the research, we've brought the information to the council and to the public, and again, the most municipalities across the state, like he said, over 11,000? 1,100 municipalities, you know, less than 1% of them have these positions as elected. So again, I just want the public to know my position on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
I have a communication.
Okay.
I have communication from the mayor, from Mayor Wilfred Rosas to the Dunkirk Common Council. Tuesday, April 19, 2022, Dunkirk Board of Assessment Review appointment. The following Dunkirk City resident has been appointed to the Board of Assessment Review, Michael Heald.
Okay, and that was received and filed. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to communication from the public and petitions.
Number 1, request from Sheila Starkey Hahn on behalf of the Dunkirk Fredonia Rotary Club to conduct their second annual cleanup of the beach at Point Gratiot Park on Saturday, April 23rd, 2022 from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m.
Any discussion, council? Hearing none. Clerk, would you call the roll?
You have your motions.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, we had a motion from Councilman Bomano and a second by Leskoviak.
Councilmember Leskoviak?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto? Aye. Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at Large D'Amico. Excuse me.
Aye, carried.
Number 2, request from Mary Reese on behalf of Revitalize Dunkirk requesting permission to assist the City of Dunkirk in coordination with the Parks Department and the 912 Union to landscape 9 areas at the City Pier and Boardwalk on Monday, April 25th, 2022 from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Okay, hearing none, we had a motion from Nichols and a second by Bomano.
Councilmember Leskoviak?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto? Aye. Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye. Councilmember
Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at Large D'Amico?
Aye, carried.
Number 3, request from Tracy Smith-Dengler on behalf of the Sunset Crew to host a bonfire on Main Street Beach the evening Friday, May 20th, 2022.
Any discussion, council?
I make a motion we table this till the fire chief gets back into town and he's available for comment and concern on it.
Yes, we had actually a motion to table from Councilman Stoyl and a second by you, Councilman Nichols.
Councilmember Leskoviak?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto? Aye. Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at Large D'Amico?
Aye, carried.
Number 4, request from Anne Marie Riggy on behalf of the National Honor Society chapter of Western New York P-Tech STEM Academy to have a beach cleanup at Point Gratiot Park on Friday, May 27, 22 from 9 a.m. until 1:30 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Hearing none, we got a motion by Nichol and a second by Leskoviak.
Councilmember Leskoviak?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto? Aye. Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at Large D'Amico?
Aye, carried.
Number 5, request from Valerie Waller-Wender on behalf of the CREATE project requesting permission to produce a documentary, Traditions, Trauma, and Tenderness, on Saturday, July 30th, 2022 at Dunkirk Memorial Park. The event will be open to the public between the hours of 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Setup time will begin at 11 a.m. and cleanup time will be until 4 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Hearing none, we got a motion by Stoyl and a seconded by Leskoviak.
Councilmember Leskoviak.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto. Aye. Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large D'Amico.
Aye, carried.
Number 6, request from Colden Nudie from Scout Troop 627 requesting permission to create a plant and garden to promote butterfly conservation as part of his Eagle Scout project in the city of Dunkirk.
Any discussion, council?
Yeah, I want Randy to explain where this gentleman is going to be doing his project.
Sure. First of all, both of these Eagle Scout projects will be coordinated through our 2 labor unions in DPW for assistance and advice. And the butterfly project will be in Point Gratiot, and then the other project will be at Wright Park.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I got a motion from Nichols with a second by Lescoviac.
Councilmember Lescoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, carried.
Number 7, request from Lenith Velez Olmo from Scout Troop 267 requesting permission to build a bug hotel, and they match the cube as part of his Eagle Scout project in the city of Dunkirk. Deputy Development Director Hayes has been in contact with Mr. Olmo and suggested the project would be a great addition to the new nature play area at Wright Park.
Any discussion, council? Okay, hearing none, we got a motion by Councilwoman Lescoviac with a second by Councilman Bamanto.
Councilmember Lescoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, carried.
Number 8, request from the Northern Chautauqua Catholic School requesting the use of Promenschenko Stadium for their home games on May 2nd, May 7th, May 11th, 2022. They are requesting the fields be available and playable at 4 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Hearing none, we got a motion by Stoyl and a second by
Councilman,
Mike's
got a question.
As I said in the pre-meeting, we can't guarantee on our end that the fields will be ready, so I suggest they make alternate arrangements just in case.
And Clerk Edwin, you were going to make sure that got back to them?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay,
I'd like to tell us.
all right, we'll call the roll.
Councilmember Lescoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, carried.
I agree.
Okay, number 9, request from Krista Camerata on behalf of the Jamestown Community Learning Council to host an educational family science night on Friday, June 17, 2022. We're requesting to use the lower pavilion from 3 p.m. until 8 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Hearing none, we have a motion by Nichols, seconded by Bamanto.
Councilmember Lescoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, carried.
Number 10, notice of claim from Colin Copa of 21 East Doty Street for alleged damages done to the front steps caused by a city-owned tree.
Any discussion, council? Okay, hearing none, I got a motion by Nichols and a second by Stoyl.
Councilmember Lescoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Okay, and we got a couple walk-ins.
I have another request, number 11, loudspeaker permit request from the Dunkirk Historical Lighthouse and Veterans Park Museum to use sound system for all events on the lighthouse property from May 1st, 2022 to October 31st, 2022.
Any discussion, council? Okay, hearing none, we had a motion by Nichols and a second by Lescoviac.
Councilmember Lescoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, carried.
Yes, sir. So we have a request from, it's for the National Day of Prayer will be held on Thursday, May 5th, 2022, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. All churches in the city will be represented. We're requesting the use of Memorial Park on Lakeshore Drive and Dunkirk as our venue. And this is by all the local churches.
Any discussion, council? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion by Nichols and a second by Bamanto.
Councilmember Lescoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, carried.
I have an application for loudspeaker for the same National Day of Prayer at Memorial Park on May 5th, 2022, from 5:30 p.m. until 8 p.m. And this is for the National Day of Prayer.
Any discussion, council? Okay, hearing none, I have a motion by Nichols and Bamanto also.
Councilmember Lescoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, carried.
So can I do the next one under new business?
Sure. Okay. Unfinished business?
We have, we can do these reports.
And just, we're just going to,
Do your reports.
okay. Okay, so reports of standing special committees, Councilwoman Lescoviac.
Yes,
Jumped over.
thank you, Dunkirk Fredonia Rotary Club, Revitalize Dunkirk, and the Honor Society of P-Tech Academy in their cleanup and beautification efforts. We are so lucky to have you. And in response to the referral of a city advisory committee mentioned at last council meeting and in the paper, I wanted to let everyone know that was one created by our hospital, and it's not the City of Dunkirk Citizen Advisory Committee, which has been around for decades and is a very concerned and helpful group of people. Also, please know the next Economic Development Committee meeting is Monday, May 2nd at 4 p.m. in City Hall, second floor. Our guest will be from the Land Bank discussing the Hands-On Neighborhood Project, which they sponsor and have created. It focuses on cleaning our city. Everyone is invited. I'd like to emphasize the importance of all residents contributing to cleaning and maintaining our city. I mean, how many cities can boast of being a city on the waterfront? And we must be cleaner in order to attain greater economic growth, such as attracting Amtrak. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Bomano?
Yes, I have a couple things. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the mayor and his staff who worked on getting the funding for the harbor front through Senator Schumer, $5.9 million. That's huge. That's something that needs to be done to the harbor. It's overdue, and hopefully we can expand out after that and keep the funding coming. But thank you everyone for that. Mr. Sommerfeld, as I said in the last meeting, I agree with you as far as we need to work on our charter and code. It's just something that just has to happen. It's going to get it through all of it, it would take 2 to 3 years. We got to get it started and start cleaning up some of this stuff. Also on the treasurer and the assessors, as I said at last meeting, I think we should, that should be appointed. Some people are in agreement with that. I think it just best suits the city if we appoint both positions. And we were talking about that years ago, 2016, 2017, it never materialized, and now might be the time to do it in lieu of what we heard in workshop and other information we're getting. And I will make a motion to table that resolution for tonight when it comes up for a vote. And maybe we can get some more information, get everything cleared up. And Richard, do we have time if we don't vote on this tonight to handle it in the next meeting?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay.
Because we do have new information we didn't have before.
Right.
We definitely follow up on.
That's why I think we table it, get the new information, digest it, and.
Well, it was a nice conversation he had with the mayor and.
That's all I have.
After the workshop.
Councilman Stoyl?
Yeah, Natalie stepped on this thing a little bit. Is there in fact a Dunkirk Advisory Council?
So there's a Citizens Advisory Council that was created, I believe, under the Stoyl, no, I'm sorry, not Stoyl, under the...
Kiseki.
Possibly. It was in the 90s. It was during one of the administrations of the 90s, and it was created by resolution. It wasn't codified in the charter or the code, so it's not a standing committee like one of the committees with council, but it was essentially created to give citizens a voice and to basically make recommendations and offer their opinions to the city and the council.
But there's just been some questions by one of, I guess he's a member of that, but I guess Mr. Bomano referred to some other committee as the advisory committee, and it ticked him off because that wasn't who advised him.
Yeah, I talked to him.
Did you?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I believe Natalie was saying that was the
I didn't know if it still
hospital's
existed.
reuse committee. I think that was separate, yeah.
Yeah.
From Brooks.
All right. Yeah, and Marty's thing, I'm going to disagree with him on tabling this thing. I think it should go to the people. The people should have a right to vote on something. We can't have all appointments. I mean, we got enough of it now, but I'm against the tabling it. I want the people to vote on this thing. Put it up to a referendum, and let's do what the people say. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Bomano?
Richard, if we tabled this and brought it back and wanted to make it an election, or we wanted to make it an appointment, would it still go for referendum for the people?
If we were to switch to appointed, it probably should go to referendum as well. If you wanted to do that, you could either do that by modifying the current resolution on the table or passing a separate one. Again, the one issue may be a moot point in terms of the term for assessor per state law. That's what we're looking into to see whether a referendum would be necessary or not for that particular position. So that we'll have an answer on by the next meeting.
So the people would get the vote, most likely, anyway, if it's appointed. Just to get the people know that they're not just going to vote for this if we table it, and if we table it, they're not going to get the vote on something, they're going to get the vote.
Oh, right, so if council chose to pass a resolution converting positions to appointed positions, that would have to go to referendum.
This is not what this resolution's about. This is
Right, this
about,
one's just about
that's a whole
terms.
different world we're talking to.
Right, you could put it as part of this, but it's not part of this as currently written.
Right. This current resolution is the one I want the people to vote on.
Right.
With no additions to it.
Okay,
People
Councilwoman.
say no, well, then we go with no.
Okay. Councilwoman Skoye?
I just wanted to say New York State does not have a recall vote. So we do want to think seriously about a 6-year term, just in case, now that we know we have a choice, if it's an elected position where they are endorsed by the political party, there's no mandatory qualifications needed, really. And then there's no recourse in case this does happen. New York does not have a recall vote, so appointed positions would be better, because at least there are qualifications that must be met with an appropriate civil service test and then passed by the council.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Nichols.
Thank you. Everybody had a chance to speak. They should have said what they were going to say when it was their choice to speak. I'm going to wait till Richard finds out the answer of where we're going on this, along with Councilman Stoyles said. But if people forget, back in the day, we had a mayor that was a 2-year term. It went up to referendum, and it went to a 4-year term. But yet, think about it. The people, the voters of the city of Dunkirk, we're talking about qualifications for treasurer. We're talking about qualifications for an assessor. What qualifications were there for somebody running for a mayor that we have for 4 years? I'm just bringing that up to light. Let the people vote. That's the choice they have. It's their right to vote. They are the important part of the city of Dunkirk. It's not us four sitting here. We want them to say what they want. Give them that chance. With that being said, I have a list of streets all throughout the city of Dunkirk as a startup that I'm going to give to Mr. Woodbury so he can give it to for the repaving crew. And also, I'm very upset, and I know a few of the council members are upset, that we did not get notification that Schumer was going to be in town doing what he did the other day, that we would have at least liked to have the invitation of being present when he was in town. I know the media got a hold of it 2:30 the day before, so there was ample time that council should have been made aware of it. If we could have been there, we would have been there, but just to have the knowledge that he was coming into town. And also, I would like to give the credit to Rebecca as Economic Development Chairperson for 2 years. I know that Rebecca, our former Economic Development Director, worked very hard in getting this grant for that. We had many long discussions on the improvements that needed to be done on the waterfront, and she did a very excellent job doing that and pursuing that. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. One real quick thing that I want to bring up. At our last meeting, there was some discussion about possibly losing services at the county office building. The next day, I personally reached out to both of our legislators. They both assured me that services were not being cut or being diverted. There may be some movement. There may be some clerical and possibly supervision moves. But the goal is to continue to look for office space here. The goal is to continue to keep the services here. So I just wanted to clarify that. Mayor?
I also looked into it and spoke with both, one of our county legislators have also spoken with the county executive, and I stand to disagree with both the county executive and all those that are saying that the service delivery will not be impacted. In my opinion and in my past experiences, I was manager of the emergency services for Chautauqua Opportunities. I can tell you that this move will definitely have a negative impact on the target community that it's supposed to be serving. In fact,
I have reached out to the funding sources to let them know that, in my opinion, the better provider for these services would be the two cities. So I just want you to be aware that obviously we disagree, but everybody's entitled to their opinion. The county legislator that I spoke to said he was unaware of the fact that the services were being moved to the other side of the city. And had he known, he would disagree with that move as well. That's what he told me personally. So, just so you know.
All I'm going to do to respond to that is I spoke to both of them at the same day. They called me back immediately after. They gave me the same story. Now, if something changed after that, I don't know. But that was the story given to me, and that's where I'm staying with. They told me it would not be affected. So, okay, that's what I wanted to report on. Let's move on. Unfinished business then?
Yes, sir. Number one, request from Dennis Perez Ministries Incorporated, One Militia in Christ Ministry to do a joint religious event at the gazebo in Washington Park on June 11, 2022 at 6 p.m. I reached out to this group as requested by council. They have decided to resubmit at our next meeting.
Okay, so we take no action. It's just going to die on the table, correct? Right. Table. So let's move on.
Number two, loudspeaker permit application from Dennis Perez Ministry to use microphone speakers and music on June 11, 2022 from 6 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. at Washington Park for a religious service. This is in conjunction with the first request that I just read, sir.
Okay, and it's the same thing?
Correct.
With
They're
no
going to
action, it'll die on the table. Okay. Okay, let's move on to 39.
39, intro number 2 to local law number 2-2022, City of Dunkirk, New York, a local law amending Article 2, 11, 13 of the Dunkirk City Charter entitled Elective and Appointed Officers, City Treasurer, and City Assessor.
Any discussion, Council?
Councilman, I'd like to make a motion to table this for further discussion and find out further information.
I'd like to second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second.
Councilmember Lescoviac?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl?
No.
Councilmember Nichols?
No.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico?
No. Did not carry.
You need a motion to...
Vote on whether you pass the actual resolution.
Okay, so you heard the 39, so the original resolution as written on our Articles 2, 11, and is that 13?
Call the roll.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Lescoviac?
No.
Councilmember Bamanto?
No.
Councilmember Stoyl?
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico?
Yes. Carried.
There are no pre-filed resolutions, sir.
Thank you. How about new business?
New business. I have resolution number 40-2022, April 19, 2022, by council members Nichols, Bamano, Stoyl, and Lescoviac. Resolution authorizing continued emergency work on large main insertion valve and water line repair on Route 5 between Brigham Road and Main Street.
Any discussion, Council?
Yeah, could Randy just give a brief summary of this resolution, please?
Sure. We started the emergency valve insertion at the beginning of winter, and then we had a hiatus during the winter. Got a little bit of a late start, but the groundhog is on trial, and we'll have to see if we can get more warm weather here. But now that we have warm weather, we want to get going on. We got the same team ready to go, so that's what we're all about. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich.
Okay, no other discussion. We got a motion by Nichols, a second by Lescoviac.
Councilmember Lescoviac?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico?
Aye. Carried. Anything else under new business?
No, sir.
Okay. Hearing that, could I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Stoyl. Can I get a second for adjournment? By Nichols.
Councilmember Lescoviac?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico?
Aye. Carried. Adjourned.
He thought that reuse